One of the most imperative pieces of gear that firefighters need to own and be well oriented to are their life safety systems in regards to escape belts or escape harnesses. Honeywell has produced a Morning Pride line of life rescue systems with their harnesses that are remarkably comprehensive. So the pants are designed to be intuitive, and the cargo pockets have breakaway panels, special stowage areas. All of the tabs on the pants, regardless of the series of harness or life safety belt, are designed to be fully integrated. They're not invasive as far as affecting how you operate when you're not utilizing them. So whether we're searching, whether we're ventilating, whether we're pulling hose, these harnesses stay out of the way, they're secured, they don't change the fit or the dynamics of how your pants wear when you're doing the job. But the most optimal feature of them is that when you do need them, when you really are at that pinnacle point where you're going to rely on that life escape system, that's where these really shine. And the first thing we want to talk about is the ergonomics, the design, how easily you can adjust and make the manipulations that you need to make on this harness, as well as how functional it is depending on what your job application is. And then when it comes to the accessories or the configurations of the harness, we want to really hit on how versatile this harness is. The Spyder and the Patriot both are comprehensively designed with the pants so that you have variables and options, not just from the stowing pockets and how they coordinate with the belt, but also whether you do an internal or an external configuration. So in this example with this Patriot component, we're utilizing the external application. When we get into the Spyder, we're going to show an internal application in which the leg loops are actually integrated on the inside of the outer shell, on the outside of the moisture barrier. It's important to note that all of the Honeywell Morning Pride life systems are all Kevlar material, so you have that fire resistive capacity when you're in that IDLH environment, and they are all NFPA 1983 compliant as Class 2 harness systems. So the Patriot harness is designed with these stowage tabs on the front where you can assemble your hardware. The nice thing about how these are designed is that it enables this hardware element to hinge with body movement so that it doesn't create any pinch points or hamper or impede how you're progressing through the structure and how you're moving. If you don't want to stow this hardware on the front of your gear and you want to isolate it inside of a breakaway pocket, you can quickly pull it away from those elements and you can rig it right directly into that pocket. So that's a nice versatile feature about the Patriot. You can see the way the Patriot is designed. You have this single deployment strap or section of Kevlar webbing descending from the load-bearing point on the harness. This enables you to utilize this application for your ladder belt components. This secondary attachment point on the side is your other load-bearing attachment where you can rig in your escape system, whatever type of bailout system you're going to utilize, and then integrate it into that pocket. In addition to these stowage tabs, one of the really neat features about both the Spyder and the Patriot system is how easy they are to adjust. So on the leg loops themselves, we got tabs on each side of the webbing loops that we just simply vertically pull up on, and it cinches down the leg loops. If you want to extend those back out again, you simply grab the brackets and push down on them with your thumb, and they readily extend. They've also added some great abrasion guards around the hardware elements that are exposed to areas where we're going to be crawling or potentially doing three-point stances, encountering things that could potentially damage the harness. So that's another neat feature that they've put around those hardware elements. In this application, we're going to talk about the Spyder harness. So the Spyder harness is very similar to the Patriot. In this specific configuration, we're utilizing internal configuration in that the leg loops are hidden beneath the outer shell. So it's the same harness setup, you just can't see the leg loops. So when we get started, we're going to have the same attachment point at this point as we do with the Patriot harness. All of the same tab enclosures that keep the waist belt in place. We were not utilizing the external leg loop facets because, again, we've gone internal with it in our configuration. We have the same cinching options as far as our waist belt and our leg loops. So both those applications are the same. So as you look at these closures here, if I were to deploy this in a ladder belt configuration, I could simply grab this, again, ergonomically hinging element of my large ladder hook and pull it away from the pant, which then gives me the ability to make my ladder attachment. If I look at this configuration here, you can see that we're not dealing with a single webbing extension as we are with the Patriot. In the Spyder application, we've got an A-frame. You've got a sewn webbing element here as a keeper component for this attachment point. And then you'll notice here that we have an additional load-bearing rigging element for our bailout system. So we get all the same benefits and features of the Patriot. We add the element of an A-frame component here. Again, great harness, very, very versatile, very customizable, and works as a great comprehensive gear ensemble.